people of Bardstown have been waiting 5 years for answers in the case of Crystal Rogers. And now, seeing FBI agents throughout their community is giving them hope that the wait is almost over.
They will leave no stone unturned, and they will scour that area for evidence, talk to people.
The FBI is investigating Breonna Taylor's case, too. We're told the evidence they've collected is being tested in Virginia right now. At the same time, the activists from across the country are demanding answers.
We are remembering Breonna Taylor and wanting to uplift her as we continue our work.
And the wait is finally over. The 67th WHAS Crusade for Children is finally here. We're celebrating the $190 million we've raised for kids with special needs so far. And we're vowing to not let anything, not even a pandemic, keep us from doing even more this year.
Each one's better than the next. This one's the weirdest, but it's still going to be another miracle come true.
So unfortunately, not every Crusade tradition can happen this year. Variety shows and pandemics, not exactly a great mix. But on the plus side, we have even more ways you can donate this year right from home. You can text us, you can ask Alexa to do it for you. A lot of options, so we'll go through all that coming up. And that's not the only big event happening this weekend either. The Street Rod Nationals are in Louisville this weekend. Reed and Rose are both out there at the Kentucky Expo Center hanging out, so we'll hear from them in just a few minutes. But we'll start the hour with your top stories, starting with the Crystal Rogers case. Federal authorities say they have a weekend of work ahead in Bardstown as they search Houck family properties. Yesterday, the FBI took Crystal Rogers' car as evidence.
All focus on the Houck family farm, the FBI leading the search for the second day in a row. This view from the sky shows federal agents searching one of the ponds on the property as other vehicles look at the land.
There's a lot of commotion, people coming around.
The Houck farmlands back up to the home of Roger Livers.
Kind of strange, especially when you can see tents and things from the pool.
It's not the first time these acres have been explored by law enforcement since Crystal Rogers went missing. But former FBI agent David Byer thinks this time will be different.
They will leave no stone unturned, and they will scour that area for evidence, talk to people.
He says the FBI can bring more resources to the investigation than local agencies, like ground-penetrating radar, giving agents a look at what's 15 feet below ground.
One of the other things that they can bring to the table is the underwater search and evidence team, which is highly trained in trying to locate evidence underwater.
And 20 minutes closer to town, more FBI agents here at this storage unit, towing away Crystal Rogers' red Chevy Impala.
It was found abandoned on the Bluegrass Parkway with her keys and purse still inside. Federal agents ready to wipe off the dust and get answers.
Hopefully for the family they find something.
The FBI plans to execute 9 federal search warrants altogether and conduct more than 50 interviews. Byer says those with information need to share it.
Oftentimes people will have a small piece of information that they think might be insignificant, but when it is given to the FBI, it may be that piece of evidence that connects some other piece of evidence that connects to the main crime.
The FBI is not offering a timeline for when or even if anyone will be arrested, but plan to continue these searches through the weekend and into next week.
I think that if there's a chance of solving this case, having this response by the FBI will lead to that.
The FBI wants to keep everyone up to date about Crystal's case with a new website. It's crystalrogerstaskforce.com. So you can sign up for notifications or share a tip anonymously on that website. The FBI says a lot of people are asking them if Crystal Rogers' case is going to take away from the Breonna Taylor case and the emphasis on that. They say the answer is no, because these investigations are with separate units. So as far as the Breonna Taylor case goes, the FBI says all the evidence they collected at Taylor's apartment is still being tested at a lab in Virginia. They're waiting for the results, and they say once they get them, they'll share them with the AG's office right away. And as we wait for those results, protesters are still traveling to Louisville from across the country for Breonna Taylor. This weekend, the group Until Freedom plans to be back for another rally. So that's a group from New York that was last year during a protest in front of AG Daniel Cameron's home. 15 members of the group plan to be in town today and stay as long as they need to.
We're there to amplify the work that's already happening. And we're also there to come out of downtown. The rest of Kentucky has to be no sleep. You got to go to the residential areas. You got to go talk to the community members and say, where are you about Breonna Taylor?
Today is also the 6th anniversary of the day that Michael Brown was killed in Ferguson, Missouri. So Brown's dad is going to join the group in a rally today at 4 o'clock. They're meeting at West Main and 11th Streets.
No justice! No peace!
Yesterday, a group from Atlanta was in town in what they called their first ever Good Trouble ride, which was inspired by Congressman John Lewis. Nearly 100 people were at Jefferson Square Park calling on AG Daniel Cameron to take action in Breonna Taylor's case. And Louisville is just their first stop, they say.
Go to Alabama next, Mississippi, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, really to cover the whole South region and to really revive and unite the states together and for us to band together against racism.
So on Thursday, Daniel Cameron said he's waiting for key evidence about the actual shooting before making a decision in this case. He wants to find out more about the guns and the bullets that were used. Well, most big events have been canceled up until this point, but this weekend, the annual Street Rod Nationals have come to the Kentucky Expo Center. Rose is out there for the 3rd day of the event. So, Rose, what can people expect if they head out there?
Well, first of all, you can expect some pretty neat cars. A lot of them are driving in this morning, and we've been enjoying just checking them all out. They're from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. So you can see all the decades represented here. Normally there'd be about 12,000 cars, but this year, due to some social distancing guidelines, we're going to be able to see about 7,000. And that's another thing you'll see is those heightened safety measures around the Expo Center here. The cars will be social distanced from each other. Exhibitors will get their temperatures taken every day, and everyone will be required to have a mask to enter the buildings. This is the first major event in Louisville since late February. Plans were submitted more than 2 months ago and approved by Governor Beshear. National Street Rod Association Marketing Director Jim Rowlett says the event tends to have a $17 million economic impact. But because of the lower than usual turnout, they're only expecting about half of that. Louisville Tourism projects this weekend will bring in about $8 million to the city.
As a tourism agency, feel very grateful that this convention was able to put together a plan that lays out their protocols and that it was approved.
It's a small step towards bringing tourism money back into the city. The Kentucky State Fair had an estimated impact of $4.2 million last year. This week, Governor Beshear announced it'll be limited to participants only, so that event definitely won't have the impact that it normally does either. And a lot of people have been questioning why events like this are able to happen when bars are closed and restaurants still have limited capacity. Well, the difference is this is a very open space and it's outside. Governor Beshear mentioned that when we asked him about it this week. And Stacey Yates with Louisville Tourism said this is the 6th largest convention center in the whole country, so that'll definitely keep people spaced apart. And Reed is also here this morning. Reed, it's pretty nice out here this morning, and it looks like today is going to be even nicer, maybe a little hot though.